So Sideways only appeared in a few seconds in Revenge of the Fallen before being promptly bisected by Sideswipe. The reasoning for his super short appearance was because of some back and forth between Audi and Paramount for licensing issues or something, but Sideways was very prominent in the video games. Now that doesn't mean this toy is a game-only toy, not even in the slightest. It was designed from the film and its model, but the reason I bring the game in is because this gun. I'm gonna start with that. It's from one of the games. I believe it's the PS2 game or the Wii one, not 100% sure. I've seen it referred to as both, but it's a gun in the video games, and that's really cool to see an actual video game component in these toys, because the whole Activision Hasbro thing has been up in arms for a while as to who owns what, and this could potentially indicate that more game stuff can happen in the future. Breakaway, please. There have been some leaked listings of War for Cybertron game stuff to come out next year, so we'll see. Now onto the toy itself. Sideways looks very epic, but I have one major gripe with the design of the robot. It's the doors. On the character model, they're in the middle of his back, but not the sides like this one, and yet it's like this. I really wish there was a way to put them in the middle, but it also doesn't look terrible where they are right now. The rest of the toy I really like though. The sculpted detail on it is awesome. To me, it's a lot nicer looking than the original mold, and the size just kind of works better for this character. There is a lot of gray though on this robot mode, and it does look a bit disjointed. Like Sideswipe had the same sort of gray to silver ratio, but it's not as sporadic as Sideways here. And there's a common issue with loose ball jointed feet. I got lucky and mine isn't super loose. It is still loose and you'll see that later, but it's not as bad as other people's, so that's nice. I like the extra little details like the flaring out of the arm panels and the rotation of all the chest bits. Really helps this guy feel like a Bayformer, and it also uses a lot of the car's mass to become the robot and robot related details, unlike some others. For how small and complex this toy's design is, he has a lot of articulation for what he is. Let me show you. So one thing, I need to move this out of the way. So one thing I noticed while shooting this video and messing with both this guy and the original mold is that Sideways' toys, a very common problem to have is with loose feet on both of these. Because before I get into articulation, I just want to point something out here. Look at how small he fell over. Look at how small his feet are. These aren't really supposed to be back here. They're supposed to be folded some other way, I believe. But I put them there as heels because otherwise he just he's standing by himself out of focus. He's just standing there like with these tiny ass feet, and it becomes very difficult to balance him on. So it's just something funny I noticed. Anyways, let me get him over here. Sideways, Studio Series 1. Stand up, you fool. When the camera's on, his feet are loose. There we go. It's not that difficult to get mine standing, although he does have a little bit loose, feet. But I have heard people that have it much worse. There are ball joints. You can fix that real easy. Now, his articulation is actually not that bad for what he is. He's a small little dude, and I was kind of expecting the articulation to be similar to this, having some limitations because of the way that they use the car kibble. Because this toy does a pretty good job at using car parts to actually be the parts of the robot, not fake bits like a lot of other toys have. And he does a similar sort of thing. There's no fake car bits. The wheels are real, the chest is real, all that stuff's real. So I thought, oh, maybe it's gonna hamper some of the posing. It really doesn't. Head is on a ball joint, a pretty expressive ball joint. Like he can look up pretty far and down and left and right and tilt side to side. A lot of nice silver on that head too. Shoulders are a bit weird. I have heard some reports of the left one specifically not locking in. Mine locks in perfectly fine. But if you want to unlock it, you get a double hinge here, right? And then you also get that little ratcheted hinge here, which is kind of annoying to have to move every now and again. See? There we go. But you do get a ball joint at the shoulder, which is a little limited. They're kind of like trigger happy shoulders where once they're out, you can't really move them up, but this kind of gets in the way of moving them out anyways. So you have to use that tight ass ratchet in there. But you do get a full 360 and it goes out like that because of transformation. And then you have the ball jointed elbow, so that gives you your swivel and your bend. And you've got MPM barricade style hands, so they work exactly the same as Masterpiece Movie Barricade. This surprisingly shares quite a bit with Masterpiece Movie Barricade. There's a lot of similarities here I wasn't expecting. I also wasn't expecting a waist joint. It looked like they weren't able to include one in all the promo images, but they did, which is nice. Hips can only go forward that far with the leg, the way it's sculpted, and back that far. and then they go out. But because the ball joints are so open in there, you can twist them out and then rotate the foot even more up. So I like that little design. I'm pretty sure that's intentional because that ball joint is quite open in there. So yeah, you do also get a above the knee swivel and then a knee bend like that. And then the feet, here's the biggest issue with this figure. They do that. They're loose. Like I said, you can fix them easily with floor polish. Mine's not too terrible. If I just am a little careful, I can get him standing like that. What I don't like is that they're on ball joints, but they still can't ankle tilt. You can get forward and back, but that makes him fall over, which is nice, but you know me, I like having both options in there. And you can't really tilt it, even though it's on a ball joint. A little bit of a missed opportunity, I think, to give him a little bit more range. Like, you can still get him into poses that require an ankle tilt without actually having it, but it would have made it look a lot nicer. I'm just trying to get him in one here. Oh, come on. There we go. It would have looked a lot nicer if he had an ankle tilt, but his posing still is pretty good, and I have a lot of fun messing with this toy. This is like, since Galvatron, this is the most fun I've had posing a Studio Series toy. Oh wow, he's standing. The gun pegs in a very interesting way. You just slide it over the hand, tab it in, and then secure it by pegging the thumb over the gun. I like that system. It sits at a weird angle, but I really like how they were able to make that lock into place using the thumb. I find that clever. It's a very nice robot. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and it makes me look forward to releases like The Fallen, because if they're going to be at the same level as this or even higher, I cannot wait. Plus, that Fallen looks amazing. Now, I was going to... God damn it. Stand up, you idiot. Now, I was going to do the whole transformation thing sped up because... Yeah, I was going to. I already spoke in the articulation segment, but this is the part that I think is the most annoying. There he goes again. And the thing I can compare that to, the experience of transforming this, at least for the first time, was very similar to this. And that's not a good thing. Because this, like, I much prefer this mold over that mold. But, yeah, now it's not as bad, but it is still as finicky as trying to get this, at least this part of the toy, into alt mode. So I'm going to walk you through it because the instructions really don't help when it comes to the arms and the back of the car. So we'll just go through it. To start with, get the gun out of here and fold the little flaps in. I'm going to turn off autofocus because knowing me, I'm going to end up yelling at the camera. There we go. Bend the feet down. And then you take this entire torso section and just flick it up. I do wish this tabbed in a little better, but Bring that up and out like so and fold the hood down. And now he just looks really funny. There you go. Hang on. Thumbnail photo. Maybe. Nah. But it's still funny. So once you do that, we'll just get the arms all situated here. This is where it becomes very MPM Barricade because the hands just kind of transform a little similar to each other. I don't have Studio Series Barricade, so I can't comment on whether or not those are similar there. But yeah, just bend that out and forward. All right, so this is the difficult bit. Well, not this part. This part's easy. Getting all this situated. It's a lot more involved than I was expecting it to be as well. I wasn't expecting this to be as intricate because, like, it's Studio Series, right? These aren't the most complex toys in the world. I was not expecting it to be this level of complex, but it is. Not as bad, but it still is a little bit jarring at first. All right, so we got the feet all done, and this is where it becomes a little bit more difficult. So you bring this section all the way down, right? We're gonna leave all this up. So getting the shoulders in place, you wanna bring them down, right? Make sure the feet are flat, and then shove it in. Now, when doing this, stuff starts to bump into each other down here, at least on this side, and the hands right here, the instructions kind of make it look like you have to tuck the thumbs into the waist, but you're not supposed to. They're just supposed to like sit there, and you have to make sure everything stays flat the entire time, and that can be difficult to do. So just get everything sort of situated there like that. Do the same on this side. Like so. Keep the hands open all the way. I find that helps a lot. Oh, these feet are really annoying in the transformation. Keeping the hands open like that helps a lot when trying to get this guy into his alt mode. Then you want to fold the back section down. And then this is where it gets even more annoying because you have to tab it in. And it's just like, see, it's untabbing as I tab it in. There we go. There we go. He is grabbing his own butt, and I find that hilarious. And then you just sort of wiggle these sections in here. Like that, and then stuff comes on tab, so you tab it back in. Ah, transforming. And then these side sections here, I don't like the way that that looks. It doesn't look great at all. But are we done? Yeah, there we go. That's his alt mode. That's a transformation that I don't really like doing that much. Car mode is not an R8. Due to licensing issues, it can't be, nor can it mimic the shape of an R8. So they mocked up the front end to look like an Audi shape and then did the back end however they wanted to avoid Audi being mad. And it looks all right. It's not the best looking thing in the world, and I'm bringing Universe Ironhide back out here to show you something. Panel lines. Notice the similarities? While not nearly as bad as Ironhide's, I still think it looks pretty dookie. When I looked at the car mode for the first time, Universe Ironhide was the first toy that popped into my head, and that's stuck with me since then. Transformers will always have panel lines. There's no getting around that. But here, it just seems too in your face, you know? Not everything likes to line up 100% perfect, so it makes them stick out a lot more. Weapon can store on the back, and that looks kind of goofy, but hey, at least there's a place for it to go. It's not super secure either, it comes off quite easily. I do like the size of the car. It fits with a lot of the other Studio Series toys quite well. It just feels nice in the hand. My copy also doesn't roll super well because of the back wheels. They're a little stiff, which is a pain, but I don't roll my toys around that often, so it doesn't really bother me that much. The car does look a little squished to me, the way that they've shaped it, because my brain, and I know a lot of other people's brains, when they look at this, the front of this, you look at it and fill the rest of it in as that's an Audi R8, but then you turn it around and it's not an Audi R8, and it just makes it feel a bit squished and plump, like it's not supposed to be. It has a strange sort of visual effect when I look at it. I do like it though. I don't love it because of the issues I mentioned, but I do like it. Being the only Studio Series toy I've gotten in recent weeks, I think it does a fair job and is still fun to mess with. Worth its price though? Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I got it 10% off because of GameStop's Edge Platinum membership, but still not badly priced. I would definitely recommend getting one of these. And like I said, the feet issue, which is common among pretty much every single copy I've seen, is easily fixable. So it's not like it's a terrible issue at all. Also, one thing to note, the clear plastic on this guy is quite thick. Like the hinges themselves are really thick, so it doesn't feel like it's gonna break at all. So I also very much appreciate that, but I think it's worth it. But that's been my look at Studio Series Sideways. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.